everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Hat Trick Hockey. We have so much to talk about. We talk about all things hockey here. All things hockey, right from Junior C right up into the NHL. As always, and you'll always hear me, I'll be here with my co-host, Mr. Rob Sawyer. Rob, what's going on?
Thank you very much. Nice intro, bro.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Couple big stories here. First of all, off the hop here, we have dates, my friend. The NHL just released earlier on that the key dates for the return to play. They go as follows. July 13th, they're going to start their formal training camps. By the 26th, they're going to be in their hub cities. And by August 1st, Rob, we have puck drop.
I am so pumped for this. We have two hubs, don't we?
We do have two hub cities, and of course, north of the border right here with us. Why? Because our cases are so low that Canada is the safest spot to have these guys. So they're going to be playing out of Edmonton, and they're going to be playing out of Toronto. So those are the two hub cities that they have announced and they've said that they were going to go with. And honestly, I cannot wait. We will break down those actually in just a little bit. In the meantime, since we're on the topic of COVID, since June 8th, there have been 35 guys who have had a positive result on their tests. Here's the thing though. Out of those 35 guys, 23 of the 35 are from when they opened up for phase 2, which that was only a couple weeks ago. But Commissioner Bettman says that everything will move on as planned, and if players end up getting sick while they're there, that they just go on the injured reserve. What do you think of that?
Well, does the whole team end up getting tested after one guy comes down with it?
I think how they do it is they have to test like once a week or like every other day or something. I know it's like crazy small like interval of it, but I know like I could not imagine someone shoving that up your nose for like and you have to do it three, 4 times a week.
I've got the test done. It is not pleasant.
That's what I mean.
Made my eyes water, made me gag, cough.
Like I don't know how these guys are doing, but then again, these guys take like slap shots off the face at 100 miles an hour, so I can't really see this.
Play on broken wheels.
So those guys are going to be good. So moving forward here, Philadelphia Flyers. The fans of Philly, how happy are they right now with Mr. Oscar Lindblom?
What a beauty.
This man is only 23 years old. He was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer. He's went through months of chemotherapy. When he went out of the lineup, he was actually leading the team in points. So in 30 games, he had 11 goals, 7 assists in 30 games with the Flyers. He was one of their young guns. He was just on a tear. And just the other day, he actually got to ring the bell at the hospital.
Yeah, I watched the video and I got pretty choked up, like where I had to stop the video because I started crying.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's fantastic. We just want to wish Oscar, on behalf of everybody here at Hat Trick Hockey, we just want to say that we stand with Oscar. We wish you all the best moving forward, and tell me that's not going to pump up the Philly team and the fans going into the playoffs here.
100%. And, oh yeah, by the way, fuck cancer.
Yes, exactly. Fuck cancer. Moving on here, the NHL Draft Lottery. The NHL Draft Lottery. If you are a Red Wings fan, Mr. Ilitch is turning over in his grave right now because of the way this is. So let's break this down real quick. So the Red Wings, who were absolutely horrible. They were they're 31st in the league, right?
27 points behind the second last place team.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm a Red Wings fan, so maybe I'm being a little biased.
He is.
I am. But it pissed me off. When I seen that lottery, I seriously wanted to lose my mind. So this is how it breaks down. So Los Angeles will pick number 2. Ottawa will pick number 3 and 5. Reason being they're picking 3 and 5 is because they got a first rounder in the Erik Karlsson trade. The Wings will pick number 4. So this means that one of the teams that is playing in the play-in round, So one of those 8 teams that loses out is going to have a 12.5% chance of getting the first overall pick. So imagine a team like Philadelphia or the Leafs or somebody getting this kid, this Lafreniere kid. So imagine sticking him into one of those lineups.
I'd be okay if he went to the Leafs.
Oh, of course you would. And then there's Rob being biased. But just imagine he goes to one of these teams. Like, the part that I don't get is for the Wings, this was a big deal for Detroit, for all the fans of Detroit. Reason being is this is a huge cornerstone piece of your rebuild.
Well, not only that, you just built a new arena and you have nothing there other than how fantastic that arena is to be in. That you have nobody to draw the people in there. You have no player that's going to draw Austin Matthews or a Sidney Crosby or a Malkin, it sucks.
100% it sucks. But see, here's the thing. If we pick number 4, I'm not saying we're going to get a bad guy out of it. We're going to get a good player, but this kid could be a franchise player. This could be everybody's saying that he's like Sidney Crosby.
But then again, Detroit's really drafted very well over the years. So this pick that they make, who knows? He could end up being a Stevie Yzerman or Sidney Crosby or Austin Matthews.
That'd be nice. That'd be real nice. But I'll tell you what, for the Wings and Stevie, we trust. So you know what? If he's willing to do whatever, and then you know what? If I'm gonna go with whatever he does, because look what he did over in Tampa Bay.
Oof.
Anyways, moving on, because I don't want to. I could go on for a week about this and just lose my mind completely. But I won't. So what we'll do now is we'll get into the playoff series. Okay, so we'll start off over in the Eastern Conference. We will break down. So we're going to do it into 3 categories, Rob. We'll do it into how they are on offense, how they are on defense, and how they are in between the pipes. Okay, and then that will kind of help us say which team would be a winner. So we'll start with Montreal. I'll be honest with you. This one could be my upset series because you have to think about it. Everybody's going to be coming in healthy. Everybody's been off for how long? So besides those guys that are coming, that have been out or will be out for months, everybody's fresh. But that could swing in the favor of Pittsburgh too. But all I'm going to say is if Carey Price plays like Carey Price, Pittsburgh is going to have a hell of a time trying to beat these guys. And the funniest thing is the Habs shouldn't even be in. They're one of the buy-in teams. If the playoff format was how it was normally, Montreal wouldn't be in.
Montreal really doesn't impress me that much. They got a couple of those beauties, but Carey Price, if we go goalie for goalie, yeah, Montreal wins that series.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing. We have Crosby. We have Malkin. We have Gensel. They have Zucker. They have that old Grizzly veteran Patrick Marleau. They got some players. And we didn't even mention any of their defense.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. They have struggled in the pipes in Pittsburgh. Would you agree with that? Was that a fair assessment?
Yeah. But they're averaging roughly 3.5 goals a game.
That is true. But when you allow 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that this is my upset series. All the Pens fans will be all pissed off at me, but whatever. I'm going Habs in 5.
Habs in 5? You're going against the kid, though.
I am, and I don't know why, but I just have a weird feeling that Carey Price is going to be sensational in this series.
Well, he could steal it. And defense wins you championships, but I don't know if Montreal has the defense to get past Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So who do you have in this series?
I will take Pittsburgh in 6.
Well, it can only go 5, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a best of 5 series. After that, we can go in 6.
So that my studying's going very well.
So you're going to go them in 5 then?
Them in 5,
okay.
Yes.
All right. So we both have both 5. Next, actually, let's go over to Toronto here. Toronto and Columbus. So this should be a series that you wouldn't mind breaking down, eh?
I really like Toronto.
Let's go with what you think first on this one.
Well, Austin Matthews, we had a little scare there with him getting the COVID. So he went in to do his quarantine and all that. I honestly think that with Toronto being a powerhouse, but their biggest problem is their defense, right? Mm-hmm. That scares me. I don't think they're strong defensively. And like I said before, again, with the other 2 teams playing, defense wins you championships.
That is true. What I was thinking too, and before I state that point, Did you know that Freddie Anderson was Austin Matthews' roommate and tested negative?
I didn't know
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so they were living in the same house and everything, and he came back negative. This series, Coach Tortorella is going to have those Columbus Blue Jackets coming out like wildfire because that's what he does. He's very intense. He's on his team. He likes them to be big and strong and physical and fast. Like, this series, I think, is going to be unreal. However, I just think that Toronto's going to be too much for them.
I do think the same thing, but in the same sense, it's a Tortorella team who play like he coaches, aggressive, rough, and who knows? Maybe Toronto can't handle the punch in the mouth kind of hockey.
Yeah.
They picked up Clifford, earlier in the season, so.
Yeah, that's going to make guys think twice before they go running at the Stars, right?
Because he will punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, that's why they signed him.
Yeah. And I like that signing. That was a great signing.
I think it was an amazing signing for the Leafs. I was literally saying that they needed somebody like that.
I do miss Matt Martin, though.
Me too.
Shout out to Matt Martin.
Yeah. Matt, if you hear this, we want you on. But in the end, I'm going to say I'm going to go Leafs in all three categories. As much as I hate to say it, I'm going to go the Leafs in all three categories, and I'm going to go that they're going to win the series in 4 games. So I'm going to say that they're going to win it 3-1.
I'm gonna have to go with the Leafs because obviously I'm going to go with my heart. That's just the way I am. And I'll lose money on it. Hopefully not. But I see the Leafs in 5. I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag out, heads up in the corner.
Yeah, skate in, elbow up type deal.
Right. Some old time hockey.
I can't wait. So
Very exciting series.
So you're going to go the Leafs too then, obviously.
Yep.
Next series, we have the Islanders and the Panthers. We have 2 legendary coaches in this series. We have Coach Q, who's obviously in Florida, and we have Coach Barry Trotz. So these 2 guys are absolutely legendary. They have both won the cup, fairly recent as well, I believe. I think this series, and Trotz there too is under the guidance of Sweet Lou, right? This team is just, I can't wait to see this. I'm so excited for all these series. There's so many young studs in this series. However, the New York arena situation is a complete nightmare. They're back and forth between, Barclays Center and the Coliseum. I think it's Coliseum.
Yeah.
Islanders fans will probably roast me on that if I'm wrong, but you know what? That's okay. This series, there's just so many young studs. There's Alexander Barkov, there's Akari, Hala, Hoffman, Huberdeau over in Florida, and then there's just
and then don't forget Bobrovsky.
Yes, Bobrovsky. This series, I cannot wait. All these series are just going to be, like you said, it's going to be hard-nosed hockey. I think everybody's going to sit back at first and just kind of feel each other out for a little bit just to see, wait for somebody to make that first mistake.
I think Boyle's going to take somebody's head off.
Yeah, he is. Fairly good assessment. And they also have Windsor's own Aaron Ekblad in Florida too, right?
Beauty.
And he's, absolute gem. They have Keith Yandel.
Yes.
Yeah, king of Sonk, right? Yeah. So we have him as well. This matchup, and down in the other cage, we have Thomas Greiss. These guys are no slouches that are wearing the pillows here. The series is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for August 1st. However, in this, I'm going to say, and you know what? I'm not even, whatever. Fuck it. You know what? I'm going Panthers in 5. I'm going with Coach Q.
I don't know. The Islanders, ever since they Tavares debacle and all that shit that went down there, they've been playing well.
Yes.
They're running teams out of buildings.
Do you think that they're doing that as a kind of stick it to the man type deal? You want to leave here, so we're going to just be the best at everything right now?
Well, I definitely think it turned them up. And our boy Matt Martin, he's playing on the Islanders.
Mm-hmm. That's his second stint there, isn't it?
Yeah, he left there and then came back.
Okay, I thought so. I knew it was something like that. Because how long was he with the Leafs for?
I want to say 2 years.
Well, best of luck to him because he's also a Windsor boy too, right? So, Moving on, our last series, we have the Carolina Hurricanes bringing the Storm Surge.
Brenda Moore.
Bringing it on the Broadway. Okay, so they're going on to Broadway where they're going to square off with the Rangers. This series too. I love all these matchups. I've said it 100 times. I don't give a shit. I'll fucking say it 100 more. This is fantastic hockey that's going to be played. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes, the past couple of years, have been on a tear here. Like, they went on an absolute fucking heater at the end of last year. They went to what? Conference final?
Yeah.
And they knocked off like Washington and like all these crazy teams. These guys are no joke. But on the other side of the puck, we have the Rangers. We got Henrik Lundqvist. They got that Panarin.
Oh, yeah.
He's there. They have just so many snipers. It's hard to even name them all. But these guys, I think, I don't even know where to start with this series. What do you think?
Henrik Lundqvist. They don't call him the king for no reason,
That
right?
is true.
I just don't know. I honestly think that Carolina's got more talent than the Rangers do.
Yeah. So you think that they could go on like another run like they did?
With Rod Brind'Amour as the coach, that guy's a beast. Like, I think they still have to kick him out of the weight room.
Yeah.
They still got to lock him out of it.
Yeah, they do. That guy, he installs just so much faith into his lineup, and his guys love playing for him. He likes his team to be physical, and he has, in my honest opinion, he's completely turned that whole team around.
Well, when your coach leads by example, and he ain't even on the ice, I bet you he's still the first one on, last one off.
Yeah, probably. He seems like he's that kind of guy. It seems like he works pretty hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Carolina, right?
I am going to go with Carolina.
How many games?
Well, only due to the fact that Lundqvist is such a beast. I'm going to have to go 5.
You're going 5 games?
I am.
Make it interesting for us here on Hat Trick Hockey, Rob, and I'm going to go the Rangers in 5.
So we're going to do all of this for a 6er?
Well, we can figure it out. We can maybe throw a couple brewskis on the line here, but we'll figure it out.
And you know how much we like brewskis.
We also never told everybody here that we have a unreal interview for these guys today.
Salt of the earth.
This guy comes on, Mr. Michael Paley. Okay, he is the general manager of the Essex 73s,
and we're very excited for this.
Yes, and we had his interview went so good we had to drop him first. Like he was unreal. He was a great conversation, and honestly, people of Essex are gonna love this interview. So, what do you think? Should we just turn it over to Mike?
Yeah.
All right. So, without further ado, Mr. Mike Paley. If you're around the Essex 73s games this year, he will need no introduction. He spent 4 years with the University of Windsor Hockey. He is now the new and current general manager of the Essex 73s, Mr. Michael Paley. Welcome to the Hat Trick Hockey.
All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I am excited to be here today. And I'm super excited for you guys as well. This is really cool. This is exactly what, the town of Essex, not only the town of Essex, but the local community needs. With podcasts becoming more popular right now, there'll be a lot of people that want to hear some local hockey stories. And there's a lot of talent around here too. A lot of guys that have played at a high level, and I'm sure they'll add a lot to your podcast. So I just want to say thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Honestly, man, we're super pumped that you're here. First thing that I want to know is, how did all this come about? Like, how did you have to apply for the job? Were you selected for it? Like, how did this come about?
No, there was, when I applied, I think there was, I want to say 6 people that applied for the job. I don't know for sure any names. A couple rumors, guys that I heard may have applied or whatever, but, I know I went through an interview process with the board. The board in Essex there's a full board, which consists of about 12 or 13 guys. Everybody kind of has their own role on the board. And then there's a personnel committee. So I interviewed with the personnel committee, which is 6 people and myself. So after that, I think they narrowed it down to 2 after my first interview, and I had a second interview, and it sounded like it was between me and somebody else. And then the following day, the interviews went really well. I am very fortunate enough to know most of the guys on the board through being a local guy in Essex, right? So I knew the president, the vice president, I know the director of hockey, those guys who are all great guys, and it made the interview go really well. But that was basically the process for the 73s, and I was pretty excited, obviously, when I was chosen as the new general manager there.
Mike, what kind of questions would they ask you in this interview?
That's a good question. It started off by just I had to prepare a document. When I say a document, it's more of a presentation type of, with my background. It's more like a hockey resume and what my game plan would be for the season, like a season-long game plan, knowing what my roles or responsibilities will be as the general manager. So for me, it was about putting that presentation together and getting it into the 73s for them to review it so they know who I was, where I came from, what I was doing. And then they were able to, take that in and then ask some questions along. To answer your question, a lot of things were, okay, what's your background in hockey? And they know that I was a local guy in Essex, which is something that I want to, keep going as a tradition here in Essex to make sure that we're having local players. But also, they knew with the history that I had with the Windsor Lancers for the last 4 years. I spent two years with the Lancers as the head scout, and then my following 2 years I was the head scout and an assistant coach. So obviously that holds some merit. That level of hockey's some of the best hockey in the county, obviously, and the experience that I got working with guys like Kevin Hamlin, Todd Warner, Eric Wellwood, Kyle McCarrick. Like, these guys are all hockey guys that have. I hope I didn't miss anybody there. Greg Primack, who's our general manager. These guys are all local hockey guys that are well-known and well-respected coaches that have played at high levels, obviously. So that kind of helps. They obviously ask how you'll handle different situations. They obviously look to see what your projection for the team's going to be, what kind of team you want to build, what you're going to do as far as holding players accountable, the team accountable, the coaching staff accountable, that kind of thing. So I would say that it was more like any job interview. It was more trying to feel out, what kind of guy you were and, what your interests were. And I think they wanted some reassurance too that I was a local guy that was going to stick around. Like, this is where I plan on staying. Anything can happen, I guess, but this is where I plan on staying as long as they'll keep me. So, but the questions were good.
Well, the more local guys that you bring onto the team, the more local fans you're going to have, which will pack the arena.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And that should be our goal, right? Like, I mean, you obviously want to take the best players, and being a general manager, especially in a small town like Essex, a hometown hockey team where, we would love to have 5, 6, 7 guys from Essex on the team every year. If the best 5, 6, 7 guys are from Essex, great. But we also got to take the best players that we have available. So it'll be my goal is to get, like, this year we had one. Liam Hall was our only player that was on the team this year from Essex directly. We've got a couple guys on there from Harrow now. We're hoping to add 1 or 2 more from Essex this year. And as we keep going, hopefully we get more guys that come from Essex. But having said that, it is a fine line. You got to make sure that you're bringing in the best players that you can. And if it means they're from Essex, that's a bonus.
Now, is there like any certain way that you'd like to see your squad out there on the ice? Like, do you want them to be aggressive? Do you want them to be big and like physical? Like, how do you want them to play?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because the game has changed a lot. I know, like, back in the day, if you watched the Essex 73s, you knew that there was going to be, some great goals, lots of talent, but you also knew there was going to be, a few scraps and it was hard-nosed hockey. And I think that if you were to model a team after, like an NHL team that's won Stanley Cups, like, Washington,
Montreal.
Okay, Montreal.
I think those guys have won a bunch.
They have. I guess I was thinking more recently because the game's changed to a lot of speed game, and there's really no clutching, grabbing. There's no, like, fighting's gone down quite a bit, so everybody's kind of looking for a more skilled team. But if you look at the Bostons and the St. Louis's and the Washingtons, the teams that have won the last 3 years, those teams are tough teams to play against. It's not just about talent. So when we want to build our team, we want to be a team that obviously has skill and talent, and we're going to look at those guys, obviously, but we want to be a team that's going to be tough to play against. We don't want you coming in here thinking that you're not leaving with bumps and bruises, because you are. And, with the game of hockey comes that, like, we want guys that'll stick up for our teammates. We want guys that'll go out there and impact the game by playing hard-nosed, play 200 feet, work hard, use the body. And I think our coaching staff's aligned with that too. So that's the kind of team we want to see on the ice. I also think that kind of team creates excitement. You can have those teams that maybe are full of talent, and but if you don't have that grit, first of all, I think you end up getting pushed around. But secondly, I think that it's not as much a draw to come to the game, when you're looking forward to seeing that, that hard-nosed hockey. So,
well, it's kind of like watching New Jersey. I wouldn't want to go watch a team like New Jersey Devils that, it's a defensive system.
Plays the left wing lock all night.
And
yeah.
I want to see fast hockey that the team is going to punch it in the mouth and you need a punch in the mouth,
That's right.
That's the way it used to be, like back in the day, the arena had a lot of fans in there. And I remember going all the time and watching some great hockey, great fights, great goals, good goaltending.
Yeah.
All of it. It was like the full package back in the day.
100%.
And then as the game changed, it kind of, less fans started coming, because it was, obviously the clutching and grabbing was gone, but now there was way more penalties, fighting. It was, they were just getting rid of it.
Yeah, 100%. And I owe it to the town of Essex and the fans to put a good product on the ice. And that means we have to be talented. That means we have to be tough. And I think everybody has to play like that. And I'll be honest with you, dude, I loved it when I played. Not that I was a fighter or anything, but I loved watching, the last 2 minutes of the game when, it's 3 minutes, or we're up 3 goals, and next thing you know, there's 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah,
who doesn't like it, right? I mean,
I used to love those games.
Well, you don't see fans walking out when they start fighting.
No.
Especially when they know, hey, holy shit, this guy's gonna go here. You gotta wait, stick around if there's a vengeance going on out there.
And there's a buzz in the arena, and everybody knows it's gonna happen.
Well, when there's minutes left to go in the game, and the guy that's 6'4" hops over the boards, chances are he's not out there just to block shots or anything like that. So
I had the same kind of feedback when I played, because we were in the All-Ontario semifinals when I played junior C, and I remember one of the players on Woodstock came over to the bench and challenged somebody from the bench, and our coach was Kevin Hamlin at the time, and Hammer said, we were already at 4-0 or something like that in the third, and he said, you know what, we've got game 1 wrapped up here. And we sent out a couple guys that took care of some of their guys, and had a couple good tilts. And I'll tell you what, it really set the tone for the series. So you can't tell me there's no place for it, right? That set the tone. So
now, is there anybody coming to camp this year that you're really looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, for sure. So we've signed 2 players so far. We've got 4 OAs. We've got a good group of guys coming back. As far as new talent, new prospects, we've signed 2 players so far. New players. One of them is Josh Root. Josh played Tier 2 Junior A in the CCHL in Ottawa. He is a local kid. He lives about 10 minutes from the rink. He played A21 high school hockey before he went to the CCHL. Josh is like a perfect guy that when you think 73s, you want to think of Josh Root. He plays 200 feet. He's a defensive-minded player. He's not going to give you anything. And realistically, a guy like Josh is going to come in and instantly help us out, especially playing, 61 games in Junior A last year. We did sign 1 younger player already, and he's from Harrow. His name's Tate Wright.
Shout out Harrow.
Shout out to Harrow. Part of Essex. And Tater's going to come in this year. He's a 17-year-old. He played last year with the Windsor AAA team. He came in as one of our defensemen that we really wanted to have on our team. I'm sure he's going to AP with Leamington to get some Junior B experience, and the sky's going to be the limit for him if he wants to develop this year and go play Junior B next year. That's what we're here for. We're here to develop the younger talent and get them onto the next level. Having said that, if he decides or anybody else decides that, hey, I'm in Essex, I want to win. I like the way that this team is shaping up. I'm happy here. We'd love to have him stay too. So.
For some of our fans that don't know what's an AP.
So an AP is an associate player. So we have up to, I think, 18 or 19 APs, which mean anybody that plays, say, AAA next year can AP with us. We have a list of players that can AP with us, and vice versa. The Leamington Flyers would have a list of APs from Junior C or midget AAA where they could pull from if they're short players. You're only allowed to sign 23 players, so you generally have 2 extra forwards and 1 extra D. That's not in the lineup, right? So you're dressing 20 every night. So an AP player would be somebody that's not on your list, and they can play up to 10 games in your league.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
No, it's all good. And you know what? It's funny. When I was with Windsor, there were no APs, and we drew from a different crowd. So we were drawn from OHL, like Junior A, Junior B guys, right? Where now our focus is on generally the midget players, the AA, AAA, single A players that's going to be our talent pool that we're going to end up drawing from.
So as general manager, what was your first task that you figured you had to do?
Yep, there was a couple. So right away, we brought in another assistant coach, Jamie McDermott. Jamie's
Beauty.
says you. No, I'm just kidding. No, Jamie's been a friend of mine. But I also, in my opinion, thought, and I talked to our head coach Danny Anger about it too, and Danny and I had a really good discussion on what we need and what we feel would improve our team. So we brought in Jamie McDermott. He's got some experience on the bench, obviously. He coached, I think, 7 years in Essex and 9 years total. I think it was split up like 6 and 3 or something, but he won three Schmaltz Cups here with Tony Porosky as a head coach. Jamie's got a lot of experience, and he plays a little bit, he coaches a little bit different style. I mean, in this run and gun age, Jamie's a defensive coach, and I'm not saying Danny's not, but I think they'll complement each other well on the bench. We do have 2 other assistant coaches. Our defensive coach is Chad Walters, which everybody from town knows him, and Dallas Pereira, and Dallas is going to be help us out as an assistant coach as well, doing more personal skill stuff and one-on-one stuff with the guys. But what I like about that situation is every one of those players, or every one of those coaches, was an Essex 73, and they're now back as an alumni. We brought in a new trainer, that's Nick Nicodemo, also a 73 captain, who came in, and we were just kind of tasked with right away to make sure that my very first thing was to make sure we had a coaching staff that we all were happy with. Riley Jones is our director of player personnel, who is one of the best guys around here for knowing local hockey talent and players. I shouldn't even say local, because he knows everybody from everywhere. So he's just one of those guys that's going to be I'm going to be able to work with to do scouting and recruiting and stuff like that. So that was number one.
One of the things that I've been like wondering through all this is, how is like junior C hockey going to look with all this COVID stuff going on?
Yeah, we've had quite a few meetings about what the league's going to look like this year. I can tell you that right now, Hockey Canada is basically listening to the health authorities. So if now we can get 10 people together, we can have 10 guys on the ice together. And we're basically going off Hockey Canada in general is going off of what the health authorities will let us do. The PGHL, our league, is got a plan in place to start on time, and they've got a plan in place to start. They've got 6 plans in place: one to start on time and one to start as late as January. So what does that look like for us? We could play a full season if we start on time. And after a certain extent, or after January, in January, we would only play 18 games and then our playoffs. So what that means for us is, though, we would probably we'll be able to practice as a team and get together as a team. But the PGHL has agreed that we're not going to play hockey without fans. That's what all the teams draw from their attendance, from their gate, is how they keep the teams going. So with that being said, the PGHL is not going to start if we can't put fans in the building. Not like the NHL, right? We don't have a bankroll like the NHL does. Yeah. So
TV contract.
Yeah, exactly. Unless Hat Trick Hockey wants to sponsor the PGHL this year.
Well, as I saw Ant do the audio today, we got some work to do.
Yeah. Luckily, we have Kendra.
Shout out to Kendra.
There you go. Thank you, Kendra.
There you go.
Do you remember what attracted you to hockey when you were a young kid? What was it?
Oh, yeah.
What made you want to start playing hockey?
Yeah, I loved everything about it. I remember going to the rink when I played. I remember going to the rink just to watch. I mean, it was just one of those things where, I'm not saying this just me, because every Canadian boys had the same thing. They wanted to be on the ice. They wanted to play. They had that feeling in their stomach when they were on the ice, that excitement when they were skating, that kind of thing.
Watching Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, it's the same old, right? Every kid in Canada tells the same story. For me, it was the same. It was, I was super excited about going to the rink. You know what, boys? I'd be lying to say that I'm still not. Like, I walk in the rink still, whether it was with the Lancers and we were walking into, and I'm still awestruck. Like, you walk into play Ryerson when I was with the Lancers, and it's like you're in the old Maple Leaf Gardens, and you remember thinking, geez, if these walls could talk. I mean, I'm just a hockey guy, and I've always liked it. I like the old barns. I like the ones where your toes freeze, and I just like the whole, and I like the people. The people around hockey are good people. Like, you won't run into hockey players. I told you about Todd Warner. I mean, Todd and I spent time together in Windsor. I mean, he's just an all-around good person. He 500 games in the NHL, and he's got he's on with Sportsnet. I mean, he's just a guy that everybody wants to be around, and it's just because he's a hockey guy, and that's what I like. I mean, whether I was in Windsor or even walking to the arena in Essex now, I'm super excited. I'm proud to be at Essex 73, and just excited to be around hockey. So.
And by the way, there, Mr. Warner, if you hear this, we want you on. Just so you know.
Yeah. We'll make a road trip to Blenheim. We'll just bring him a couple beers. He'll be all right.
Yeah, we could definitely take care of that. One of the things that I was wondering, too, with you is you always played net, right?
Correct.
And now, how old were you when you started playing goalie?
I was 8 when I started playing net. I think I was 6 when I started playing hockey. The first 2 years, back then, you couldn't play. There was no goalies. You had the cardboard cutouts, which was pretty much me when I played net too. But
I heard a couple rumors about that.
But they had the cardboard cutouts. So I played 2 years out, and then it depends who you ask. They'll say they wanted to put the fat guy in net or something. I don't know, but I end up playing net. I end up loving it. I mean, it's funny, like I couldn't even see myself getting in the way of a puck now, but I was 8 when I started, played all my minor hockey every year in Essex, for Essex minor hockey. And then I ended up playing 3 years junior B with the Windsor Bulldogs back then and the Leamington Flyers. And then I it's funny, but like I played men's league after that and stuff like that. And I played out in men's league because I was scared of the puck. And then, and then we went to, and then time goes by and my daughter Avery started playing hockey and she was excited about it. So I was excited when they were looking for coaches, and it kind of got me back into it again. And when I ended up talking to Kevin Hamlin about, helping out with the Lancers, it was just, it just sparks wanting to be there again. So, but
there's a story about when you were coaching the girls team about somebody in their nails.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fill us in here.
And you know what? That's the part of hockey that I love, they called me Coach Pales, and the one girl, we were ready for a line change one time, and I'm like, okay, you guys are up. The 3 girls in front, and they could care less about the game. They had their gloves off. They had their fingernails painted. They were showing them. And I'm like, come on, guys, don't be looking at your nails. And one girl says, Coach Pales, we're looking at her nails. Pales nails. And they all start laughing. And it's like, okay. And, obviously they're younger kids and you want them to enjoy the game. And that's the fun of hockey, right? And like I say, my daughter Avery, she loves hockey too, and she plays to have fun, and as soon as she didn't have fun, she probably wouldn't want to play anymore. So
now she's kind of following in Dad's footsteps, coaching.
Yeah, she coached. She coached Grace. So my niece, she coached Grace.
Another goalie shout out.
Yeah, another goalie. Yeah, better than me by far. So she started coaching. I think she really likes being around the younger girls, and the younger girls really like it because and one way that I think girls hockey should go, I've noticed that it is going in that direction, is a lot of times that there's men on the bench coaching the teams, which is great. I mean, anybody that wants to give their time back to the game is excellent, but the more and more I saw it, the more and more other women are coaching girls teams, which is really good because I know the younger girls looked up to Avery when she was out there. So 100% she does. She wants to. She's coached I think the last 3 years now, and she really enjoys it. She loves being around the kids, and it's funny. She's a good chirper too because I coached the girls teams for 8 years. And we went to the London tournament, and which was probably the biggest tournament around. And our team had never won it when I was the coach. And Avery's been there for 3 years in a row and won it all 3 times. And she usually gets in the car and gives me my medal and says, "Here's something you couldn't do."
Oh, nice.
So it's a beauty. So
did you go to goalie camps when you were playing?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Which kind of camps?
I went to Rick Hines' goalie school, which was always in Windsor. I used to go to Greg Steffen's goalie school, which he always had a camp over at CompuWare over in Detroit, which that was one of my favorite ones. I think I went 3 or 4 years in a row. And then as I got older, me and a bunch of my buddies were going to the University of Michigan camps. Red Berenson coached the team. Something ironic about that, but Red's a great guy. I mean, he was just one of those guys that had time to talk to you. He coached at the University of Michigan for, I want to say 40 years. But it's funny how things come full circle because we 2 years ago, last year or 2 years ago, I guess it would have been last year. We played at the university. We played at Yost, and we were down in the coach's room in the visiting end and getting ready to play against the Wolverines. And Red came walking in, and I said to Red, I said, "Hey, you probably won't believe this, but I was at your goalie school." And of course, in true style, he says, "Oh yeah, I remember you." And I said, "No, you don't." But I'm glad you said it. Thanks. But I mean, he's 82 years old, and that was one of my favorite hockey schools. Just it wasn't necessarily a goalie school, but we stayed there for a week. We stayed on our campus at Michigan, and we might have gotten a little trouble. But it was fun.
Care to elaborate?
Now, have you ever walked into a room and been like, holy shit, that's like so and so, or how many big names have you played with?
Played with Joe Ed Jovanovski. He played with us in Windsor. NHLers. Darren McCarty punched me in the head one time. Nice. Yeah, that was good. I was at a training camp in Leamington, so I probably deserved it, but I wasn't about to fight him. So I played with a few. It's funny. You see the guys when they get older, and you're like, holy shit! I can't believe I played with this guy, and he was the number 1 draft pick in the NHL. It's it is, and I still look at it that way. I still think
what happened to you.
Yeah. Hey, we'll keep it clean.
One other thing too that I've always kind of wondered. First of all, guys in net, if you play goalie, something is not right with you if you play net. Because I always say some guys shoot the puck way too damn hard. So on that note, who shot one at you where you were like, holy shit, that's probably one of the hardest shots I've ever faced? Who was that guy?
I'll tell you who it was, and this guy doesn't know who I am. But I know who he is because he hit me, and he played for the Strathroy Rockets. His name was Mike Bondi. And he hit me in the shoulder one time, and I swore. And, we had, decent pads. It's not like I'm super old here, but it was they weren't the same. It wasn't like when it hit you, you could feel it. And he hit me in the shoulder one night, and I remember and I stayed in net the rest of the game, and he came down the wing. I just thought, you know what? Have the net. Just don't hit me again. So, but for some reason that one rings a bell. And then I was at a camp in Windsor one time, and somebody hit me right in the cage, and I had a cat eye cage on, and the cage I wiggled my nose and it scraped my nose. Yeah, so I didn't know who it was, but
that's a boomer.
I'd be pissed if somebody hit me that high.
Yeah,
I used to have a guy in that. If we shot at him and we hit him up high, he would throw his stick at us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what they should do. Especially, I know guys hit you in the head and warm-ups. You're like, really? Come on,
oh, yeah.
So I'm finally getting a start here, and you're gonna injure me.
Were you ever drafted or university?
No,
anything?
No, I had a couple opportunities to go play university hockey over in the States. Pretty much, it was a long shot for me though. I mean, I was a junior B goalie. I played 3 years in junior B, but I was a better junior C goalie. You know what I mean? I wasn't a top end junior B guy. I was just a guy that kind of hung around there for a few years, and then I was fortunate enough that when I did go play junior C, won an All-Ontario championship and was able to, kind of end my career on a high note. When I say career, wasn't like a career, but end my hockey playing days on a high note. So thanks. But I didn't really have any opportunities where, I could have taken it to the next level. I pretty much maxed out. And I knew that, and I was fine with that. It would have been a long shot for me to go and do anything else. So
you had a big year one year in junior C, I'm pretty sure it was, where your team didn't lose a game.
Correct. Yeah, we went 48 wins in the season. No, I think it was 48 total. But we didn't lose a game all year, and we swept the playoffs. So it was,
wow.
And you know what? We had a lot of the guys that played junior B back then that were playing on our team. Kevin Hamlin was our coach actually, and we just had a super talented team, and it was a dogfight. I mean, nothing came easy. We won games in overtime. It was
scraped them out.
But we had the guys that were willing to do it. And it's tough because when you do have a junior C team. And I call it junior C, and I know most people like to say PGHL, but back then it was junior B, junior C. A lot of those guys in junior C were kind of either on the back nine of their career or they were on their way up. So the guys that were on the back nine of their career, you better come to play. If you want, you better be there to win, because if you're checking out, your team's never going to win. you know. So, and that's one thing that I want to instill with the threes. Like, I want guys there that are here to win. Like, don't just think because you play junior B for 2 years and now you come back to Essex that you can coast your way through it. That's not what we're all about. You need to be a leader. You need to fight to be a leader, and you need to be the guy that's out there being an example for the younger guys. And you got to be here to win. So
you got to want to be here.
Exactly.
Now, have you ever been on a team where it was the exact opposite?
Yeah.
Where you like got your ass handed to you every single night?
Yeah, and that was the second year I was with the Windsor Bulldogs. I mean, we actually had a pretty decent team. So I don't know, maybe that says something about me, but we actually did have a pretty decent team. But we, for some reason, we got booted in the teeth almost every night. It was like, you know, and it was just, it seemed like a lot of shots. But we had some guys that were really talented. Again, I think that some of the guys were on their way up to the OHL or coming back. You know, we had like some of the names that were on that team end up playing in the OHL, end up playing. You know, that was the year before I think Ed Jovanovski was, or the year after Ed was gone. But we had some guys, and those that's not a fun year. Like, a fun year isn't. I hate to say it, but you know, you got to win to have fun, and you got to work hard to win. So it's related. It's all related. So.
Oh yeah, you had a career started as an electrician.
No, I started out right out of high school. I went to work for my dad.
Well, this is when you lived next to Jamie.
Oh, yeah. Come on. That's a great story.
Fill us in.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a good personal story. So, Jamie was coaching the Flyers at the time. He was an assistant coach with the Flyers, and he was on a road trip one night. I want to say he was in St. Mary's, but his wife wanted me to go over and hang up a ceiling fan. So I went over there to his place and I hung up the ceiling fan. And I'm going to kill you for telling me to. Anyway. No, this is good. This is a good story. I went over and hung up the ceiling fan. And, you know, as I was leaving, I said, "Hey, I hope you have a fire extinguisher." Ha ha ha. Right. Had a couple of, I was cheap labor. I worked for 2 beers, you know. So anyways, I got this thing up, and I remember the next morning I get up and I had to go to Toledo to work. And my wife called me and said, "What did you do next door over there?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on? Their house is on fire. Oh. And I'm like, there's flames shooting out of the roof. And she's like, "I don't know. I'm gotta let you go." Well, I was so upset. Like, anyways, I guess there was like 5 or 6 fire trucks that pulled up.
6.
Yeah. There was 6 that showed up. All right. Thanks. But they showed up, and you know, long story short, it was a faulty ceiling fan. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But it made me question every single light that I hung in my house next door. I'm like, oh boy, when did I do that one? So
better call somebody, not Mike.
Yeah, yeah. Don't call me. Yeah.
Now, when you were in, like, hockey was definitely wasn't like how it was now in aspects of like you guys used to have straight up brawls, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how many fights were you involved in?
I probably fought. Generally, they were goalie fights. I mean, some of the fights were more awkward than anything, right? But when we brawled, it was we would have, there'd be a goalie fight or something like that, which was a little more common than it was now. Or, at the end of the game, something like that. Honestly, maybe 5 or 6, maybe 1 or 2 a year. But again, fighting was more common. Goalie fighting wasn't that common, right? Oh, yeah. So. And that was part of the excitement. Like, I mean, I remember, I'll tell a Greg Primack story here, but Greg, when I was with the Bulldogs, we were playing in the old Forest Glade Arena, and Greg came in after we were losing like 3-0 at the end of the first, and Greg said, "Okay, when they drop the puck, you dump it in, and then everybody go drop their gloves. Pales, you skate down to the other end and fight the goalie." And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's 3-0. I'm not having a good game. Yeah. I look down the ice. The guy's a monster. I'm thinking, this sucks, right? So they dump the puck in.
Then I'm going to get beat.
They dump the puck in, and here we go, right? They dump the puck in, and we had Stubby Clapp on our team. I don't know if you know Stubby, but Stubby was a pro baseball player. I think he's still a manager. Yeah. But Stubby was on our team, and he could handle himself. And we had a boxer on our team, John Archer. We had some guys on there that could fight, and those were the guys that were on the ice. So I headed her down to the other end thinking, okay. And then I'll never forget it. Jim Batke was reffing our game, and he stopped me. And I could have kissed him. Like, I was like, you know what, Jim? Thank you. And then I'm like, I'm going to throw a couple trash talks out there on my way out, but
lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky I didn't get down there.
Yeah.
You got stopped by the ref, bro.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, even at our level, there was a lot of fights. Goalie fights weren't that common, but
They never really have been, though, right?
no, exactly. Unless there was a brawl. I remember a friend of mine played, sorry for the stories, but a friend of mine played in Petrolia, and we went into Petrolia one night, and I'm stretching we were in warm-ups. So we were out on the ice stretching, and I'm stretching, and I called him Lumpy. I said, hey, Lumpy, you're not playing tonight? He goes, no, you're not playing tonight, Bills? I said, no. I said, do you want to stage a fight here? You know, we'll go have a beer in the parking lot so we don't have to sit on the bench. So we started a fight, me against him, and it turned out to be a pretty good brawl at the time. Well, the refs only gave us 10 minutes, and we still had to sit on the bench anyway. So it was like, oh, come on.
What a dick move.
Yeah, I know. I was like, come on, buddy, throw us out. So, but that was a pretty good one. It backfired on us.
What was your most exciting game that you either coached in or played in?
Just involved in.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one. I would probably say played in. When I was playing Junior C, we were on our All Ontario run. We went to Woodstock one night, and it was such a good game. They scored 2 goals on me early, and I remember that game. For some reason, I just felt like I was mad and wanted to. It was just one of those energy boost games, and we ended up scoring late in the third to tie it. And then I think we scored. Greg Day scored in double overtime, and it was just such a high. I remember that high. I mean, you have a lot of them. I mean, you have some lows too, but you get on a winning streak too as a coach where you win 7 in a row and stuff like that. And I mean, you get a little bit of swagger to you. I mean, I certainly remember a lot of buildings that I coached and played in, and teams that I played with. Like, I played with a lot of really good hockey players and a lot of really good people. I've met so many good people through hockey, and definitely 100% I would pull that game out for sure. And then the game that we won the All Ontario against Bowmanville was at home. I mean, as you can imagine, that was about as good as it gets. So
packed house probably, right?
Yeah, it was.
Everybody.
You got it. It was packed. The stars were aligned. We won 3 or 4 nothing that night. I think it was 4 nothing that night, and it was just. It ended up being one of my last junior games, and it felt really good to go out like that. So,
what a way to go out!
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a 5th line right winger on a 11-guy house league team
on a road hockey team.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it goes to say. I mean, you talk to anybody who's a hockey guy, and your hockey story was, what game you played, and your hockey story is what your game played. The NHL guys have a story that they played, and the OHL guys. And I mean, it's all the same game. It's just on a different level. And whatever level you were at was the level you played to, and was you wanted to be the best player at that level. Not knowing that you're not going to the next level, but being able to is what makes those memories really good. So
what was the one barn arena, whatever you want to call it, that you hated going into?
Ooh, good question. That's a good question. One barn I hated going into. I don't know why I would say this, but I would say it was probably St. Mary's. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't like the rink or the way it was, but I always remember as a goalie, like, I always had a hard time picking up the puck when it got above the boards. So, any shot, like, not any shot from the other end or whatever was a tricky shot. That's the only one I can, really remember. I can remember so many games in the barn. I love the barn. I still to this day in Essex have a picture of the barn at my house, and I mean that was definitely my favorite rink. I used to love going in there and playing, practicing. I loved everything about it.
Right here in town, right?
Yep.
The old one?
100%.
The one with the 8-foot drop when you go to jump on the ice?
That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to jump on the ice, so I was fine.
You know how many times I fell on my ass jumping out of the bench on that?
Yeah, exactly.
I filled a lot of water bottles in that arena.
Oh my gosh, man. So now when you're with the 73s this year, do you watch from the stands? Do you have your own little box? Where do you watch from?
No, I think we're gonna. I mean, I'd like to do things as a team. So if I think there's gonna be some guys that I know are, like, the statistician's gonna sit in the press box and stuff like that. we'll probably be down, standing along one of the railings or something like that. Hopefully, as a team, we can be together and just make sure, if there's anything that we can do to help out the team. Danny may or may not want Danny and the rest of the coaching staff may or may not want my input sometimes. If I can, great. If I see something there that I can help out with, great. But I mean, they're the coaching staff; they're the guys that are going to pull the trigger and make the decisions. So, and to be honest with you, I have full faith in this staff. I mean, I truly feel it's the best staff in the league, and if I can help, great. But we plan to stand together. I don't know where that's going to be just yet.
I was going to say, I almost had us in the press box.
There you go.
We'll be in the press box.
The only thing we
anyways.
got to do is the old hat trick thing in there. Do you know what that is? Hat trick thing in the box? It's when you eat 3 hot dogs during the game. So if you eat one a period.
There you go. You got a hat trick. You got yourself a hat trick.
I love hot dogs.
Press box hat trick.
Yeah. I think I'll be sitting with you guys.
Free hot dogs.
Free hot dogs.
Do they serve beer at the game
Yes,
too?
they do. Yeah, they do.
Oh,
So.
wow, and what we got to do there this year is maybe one of these times we do like a ceremonial face-off.
Ooh, that'd be sweet.
There you go.
That
We
would
got
be-
the guy
we'll
right
talk
here.
We'll talk to a guy that can maybe make it happen.
Yeah,
So.
I think Mike knows a guy.
Yeah, I think we might possibly know a guy within the whole organization that might be able to make that happen for us. But
Yeah, I'll talk to the board.
we'll see. We'll see.
And let me do the talking. You don't need to be talking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out there and drop the puck. But what I might do is we'll throw a hat trick hockey thing down, a little swag for the guys that go hard on the face-off.
I like it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, hopefully that's every face-off.
Get $100 for whoever
There's-
wins a face-off.
Yeah, there was guys in the NHL when they were doing those draws there
Oh,
at
yeah.
center ice. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
paying them like $100 to go hard on it. So when the puck dropped, they were boxing each other out.
I think it
Ceremonial
was
face
Keith
off.
Kachuk that offered it.
It was
or
Scott Hartnell.
Scott Hartnell.
Yeah, Scotty Hartnell did it. He
That's
was
right.
he was at a game
That's
and he's
right.
$100 to the guy that wins the and he slammed the puck down and these guys fucking battled. So,
Right on.
I was like, it's a ceremonial face off.
Yeah.
They're boxing each other out, sticks flailing everywhere. I'm like, holy crow, guys.
Hitting the guy that dropped the puck with his
Oh,
skates.
it was
yeah.
honestly though, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved every second of it.
No, for sure. And that's part of the fun of hockey. Those guys knew each other and they were joking around about it. And I think that's perfect. Like everybody that sees that. I mean, I think we saw a situation this year where Wes, I'm drawing a blank, referee Macaulay kicked a player out so that the two Kachuk players could face off against each other at center ice. I mean, everybody that's a hockey fan can appreciate that.
Yeah,
right?
Wes is the best in the game.
Yeah, he is.
What did you think, speaking of NHL and stuff and those boys, what did you think of the Battle of Alberta?
I loved, we were in London the night, and I think, Rob, you may have been there the night that the last game.
That they had the brawl?
Where they had the brawl where Mike Smith fought, was it Cam Talbot, I think? Yeah. So, I mean, I remember watching that game in London and during the hockey tournament that we were down there with the girls. And I thought, man, this is what it used to be like. Not every game, but I mean, we haven't seen a brawl or a goalie fight in maybe a year. You maybe see one once a year, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, who doesn't stay up to watch those games? Everybody.
What's nuts too is those goalies swap teams.
Yeah, they did.
Right? They swapped teams, and the thing is when all that crap went down, I think it was Nurse. There was a photo online of Nurse, and he was literally looking at the goalie, pointing down to his goalie, go fight him.
Oh yeah,
there was a photo of it. I seen it. I was like, "Are you serious?"
Well, those games mean something in Alberta. It's not just a Tuesday night there. I mean, or a Saturday night. It's they get up for those games.
It's a war.
Yeah, and you know what?
It's called the Battle of Alberta.
It's a battle.
But you know what though? That's I stay up late for those games.
100%. I stay up late for a lot of games to watch hockey, but usually I watch a couple games at night or whatever. But that's definitely one that you put on your calendar.
Mike, with being a GM, do you have to scout players yourself?
Yeah, for sure. We want to be able to, and that's where I'll work with a guy like Riley. Riley does a lot of the, especially with me being my first year. Last year, Riley did a lot of the midget major games and stuff like that, where he was, but. That was my original background when I was with the Lancers, was to go to the OHL games or the Junior B games and scout players, give my input, talk to the players. at the end of the day, Kevin had the ultimate say. In this situation here, we want to do it as a coaching staff. So if I'm scouting players and Riley's scouting players and Danny's scouting players, and, you know, the rest of the coaching staff, I'm just not isolating to anybody. They say, hey, this is a really good player. We should keep our eye on him. 100%, we're going to want to make sure that we agree on who we're going to bring in as a group. It's not me bringing a guy in. I want to bring a guy in that the coaching staff wants, or you know, and Riley wants. I want Riley's input on how he compares against another guy, you know, and it's based on what we need as well. But yeah, that's I'll be out there scouting as well. Yeah.
Are you into any of the analytics?
No, I wish I was. I wish I was more into it. I mean, I remember last year we had a guy that was on the staff with the Lancers, and he was pure analytics. Like he could tell you what side you should carry the puck in on to get the most scoring opportunities. And I think that that's all really good information. It's all useful information. I would say most times, you know, you knew if a guy was having a good night in the face-off circle, you knew that was your guy for late face-offs late in the game. But the analytics helped you support it, right? So that if, you know, a guy's 65% in the face-off circle for the night, he's your guy you're throwing out there, especially against different matchups. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really that guy. I'm really not. Like, I look at, you know, when I look for a defenseman, if I'm looking at a defenseman, I don't care how many points defensemen have. Like, I want you to be a defenseman. You know, if a defenseman has 4 goals and 3 assists, that's fine. Like,
anything else over that's just kind of a bonus. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're a goalie, like, you know, you really you don't look at the goals against average. I mean, you do. You maybe look at wins and goals against average to a certain extent, but save percentage is something that kind of balances out. You know, again, like I say, I like to see the guys, and even you can watch them on TV or you can whatever, get feedback from other people. I like to see the guys. I like to see what happens after the whistle. So, hey, this guy plays hard and whatever, but he goes back and he trips his own teammate. Like, you know, that's something that you don't see or you don't hear about by looking at stats. Mm-hmm. So I like to see how his behavior and stuff like that. Maybe that's just me, a little quirky, but I'm not a big analytics guy.
So before we kind of wrap things up here, we Rob and I talked to one of your friends. Which did he have a story?
Oh, it was the electrician.
Oh, is the electrician? Okay. No,
so
but
no handyman shit.
yeah. I won't wire anything.
His sister about the TV.
Yeah, no, don't ask. Here we go. So I'm not allowed to touch anything in the threes room now. Thanks a lot. Yeah. I can't hang a TV. I can't wire
put it in the light bulb.
Yeah.
Just let the guys at the rink take care of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have anything else for him, Rob? Or you?
I have one more question. Will you be traveling with the team?
Yeah, I will be for sure. Like, I want to be able to travel with the team, and you know, that kind of brings me back. Not to extend this much long, but that's part of the reason that I looked for this job in Essex, and when it became available, was the travel for the Lancers was really tough. Like, it's a schedule with your job. Like with my job and the hockey schedule, it was really tough. I had a hard time getting to practices. There was a lot of times where I got home from a work trip and had to get on a bus to go to a road trip. Oh. And then it went from road trip to road trip to road trip. Rob, you guys both know my family really well. They're very supportive. They're very hockey minded. They love to see me
great family.
Happy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'll be the first to admit I got a great family. But it wasn't, the coaching part of it wasn't getting old. The travel part of it was getting old, and I had a hard time getting on that bus and putting all the time and effort that I needed to into that team. And I think if Hammer was here today, he would probably say that, you know, I gave what I could. But, you know, this is better for me. Getting back to your original question, I will travel with the team 100%. Like, I plan on going on the road games, and I think it's important that I'm there. I think that, you know, I want to be a part of the staff, and I want our team to be a team, whether it's the head coach, whether it's an assistant coach, whether it's a player. We all want to be a part of the Essex 73s, a board member. This is the Essex 73s. This isn't, you know, if you're one of our things this year is, you know, don't feel like you're too big to do a job that you're, you know, that anybody don't be afraid to, you know, go in and sweep the dressing room if it needs to be swept. You know, don't be afraid to do that job. If a water bottle needs to be filled up, don't look for somebody to fill up the water bottle. Go fill the water bottle. Yeah. And I think, you know, if our team has that mentality, that'll breed, right? So, but I will be traveling with the team 100%, unless somebody tells me I'm not allowed to.
Your wife?
Yeah. Oh, she's, you know her. She's a beauty.
Oh yeah.
She'll be traveling too. Like, I'm, you know, she's the type of person that she's been super supportive for me, and she'll be at the games. She'll be at the home games, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's at the away games.
Yeah,
too,
well,
so.
you're going to definitely see us at some games
Perfect.
this year. Like 100%, you'll see us at some games. Well, Mike, we don't want to, you've been here for a while now.
Yeah, that's great.
Honestly, man, we just want to say thank you. We wish you all the best, and you have to come on again.
All right.
Like 100%.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
It was awesome. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thank you,
I really
Mike.
appreciate
Fair
it.
enough, and I just want to tell you guys, good luck. This is going to be. I'm really excited. I've already got this page marked on my phone so that I can listen to your future interviews. And I honestly, like, I could sit around. I think I told you this, Ann. I could sit around talking about hockey forever, and most of the guys that are in this business will do the same. So thank you very much, guys.
No problem. Which is why you're gonna definitely have to come on again. And
All right.
everybody here, go Threes.
Yeah, go Threes.
Go Threes.
And there you have it, folks. Mr. Michael Paley. Great guy. He was a great interview. We hope you guys all enjoyed it. I would not let him install a light or anything at my house, so I'll tell you that.
Or a TV.
Or a TV. We love you, Mike, but
Total truth. We do love you. That was such a great. He made that so easy.
yeah, like Mike.
What a beaut.
He sat down here with us, and he was just, we never stopped talking the entire time. He was so knowledgeable. He knows his team and his players and everything so well. I think he's going to be fantastic.
Very excited for the 73's upcoming season and him dropping some of his coaches' names. We'd love to get these guys on here too, because I know they're a bunch of beauts.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have to get some of these guys throughout that organization in here. Also, for everybody we will be dropping episodes. Our day is going to be Wednesday. So look for us Wednesdays when you wake up, crawling out of bed, you're wiping the sleep out of your eyes. Just like and subscribe.
Slugging on a beer.
Download our episodes every Wednesday. Why? Because we love you.
Yeah, we do love you. You will make us.
You will make us, and we will give back. Trust me. On that note, we're also, Rob, we're going to be dropping some merch coming up soon.
Oh, and it's pretty hot stuff.
We're going to be dropping some merch. We're going to drop t-shirts, some hats, some beer cozies, of course.
Very excited.
It's a great time and a great spot to be right now for us. We're excited to be here for everybody. I've been thinking about doing this for a really long time. It's all coming together now. Everything is just molding up nicely. I'm excited.
Me too. And I just wanted to get back to Mike for one more second. With the girls hockey that he was talking about, and his daughter coming on and taking after her dad with the coach, and I was a little choked up with that, just to see how involved hockey and family are. It's just awesome. It was blown away by the interview.
Yeah, hockey is just, it doesn't matter where you play, what league you play in, male, female, whatever country you're in, hockey is a big family, and it's always been like that. I think it will always be like that.
And we hope you'll stay and be part of our family.
Yes, 100%. You can find us on Instagram. We're at Hat Trick Hockey 8891 on Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find our page, and that is also under Hat Trick Hockey. Like us, give us a like, subscribe, follow the boys.
Yeah, make some comments.
Yeah, comment, chirp us when we fuck up on the air, whatever you guys want, because you know what, we love it, and we love all the interaction with everybody. Just can't wait to get chirped by fans. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't wait. We could drop the gloves. There we go.
I'll tell you what, for somebody that chirps us the best when our merch drops, the best chirp on us during any episode, the best chirp, what we'll do then, we'll do it like this. Freestyle off the top of the dome here. A fan that chirps us the best, we will pick an episode. A fan that writes in the best chirp on us, we'll send him a free t-shirt.
Sounds awesome.
Sounds like a great deal, and it gets our swag out there, right?
Yep, I like it.
And we want to get that swag out to you guys. So, on behalf of myself and Rob here, we want to say to everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.